All right, Wayne Bettess here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
You are now listening to Off the Tools with the one and only Wayne Bettess.
If you're passionate and driven and focused in what you do, people will take notice. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in life.
The excuses are not valid.
Welcome to the next episode of the Off the Tools podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Bettess, and today I have a fantastic guest to introduce, Mr. Tom Reber from the Contractor Fight. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Wayne. How you doing today?
Very well, very well. Pumped up as usual. Want to make a good impact on everyone's day that's listening.
You're a high energy guy. I like that, man. You're like,
I try to be.
Yeah, every time I talk to you, you're all full energy and enthusiasm. That's contagious, man. It's good stuff. So
I have to control my hands. I'm one of these speakers that speak around, so you might see me sit up.
So you're Italian is what you're saying, right?
Well, I think there must be something in me. Yeah, definitely, because I just can't help it. It just comes.
Yeah, I love it.
Right. So for the listeners over here, you know, my audience is mainly UK tradesmen and women. Just give us a bit of an introduction into who you are.
Yeah. So I grew up outside of Chicago and spent some time in the Marine Corps over here, got out of the Marine Corps, worked for my uncle's painting company. Fast forward, started my own, grew it. We were doing about 300-400 projects a year. I sold my half of that company back in 2011, 2012. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder. This is the fast version. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder, said, "Hey, speak at this event, about building a business and stuff, because I know you did." And I spoke at this event. Next thing I know, somebody else tapped me on the shoulder, said, "Hey, do you do any coaching?" And now we have the Contractor Fight, where we literally coach tens of thousands of contractors all over the globe. And we do a lot of it through our podcast, The Contractor Fight. We do it through our Contractor Fight TV on YouTube. One of the things I'm most proud of my team and what we're doing is we produce more free content for home improvement contractors to help them win in their business, in their life and all that. We produce more free stuff than anybody on the planet. We'll continue to do that. We tell people all the time, our mission here is to help bring respect and dignity back to the trades. Well, I can fulfill that mission whether you pay me or not, right? But if we just tell people you want to move faster and have a great community, then, join one of our programs. Otherwise, this stuff is out there, man. And, we just want to help people win more. And so yeah, we've been doing that. I've got, I live in Colorado Springs right now. And let's see what else we got going on. In the next couple months, I got a TV show where I'm the host that's coming out on HGTV over here in the United States called Unfinished Business, where I go in with a team and we help people finish projects that have been stalled.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's, we got a lot going on here, man, in the fight, but we're excited about it. And I appreciate you having me.
All right, so sounds epic, man. I think you touched a very good point there about the free content that you've got, and I think that's partly what made me join your group and sort of get involved with you a little bit, was because I'm on a similar mission here. I produce nowhere near the levels of content that you produce, but my aim was always to help the industry, to help that individual person, small business owner, contractor, whoever it might be, first, before the money. I knew just through common sense that money would become and there'd be opportunities to do things on that front. But it's great to hear that you're on a very similar mission, because Unfortunately, as with any industry, you know, there's certain things goes on where money is more at the forefront. So it's a relief to hear you say that the mission is to help first, which is fantastic.
Well, contractors are some of the greatest men and women around, right? Big servant hearts, would bend over backwards for you. You know, they're the people crawling under your car at church when the car won't start and helping you fix a tire or whatever it is. Like it's, and sadly, most contractors are stealing from their families, right? Because they haven't leveled up their business skills as much as their trade skills. And they don't sell at the prices they should sell at, and it takes money out of their pocket. I've seen so many people spend a lifetime in the trades, and then they get to the end, they don't have a retirement, they have nothing to show for it. You know, the average contractor over here is up to his eyeballs in debt and only makes $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And so, you know, one of our big things here is, you know, we try to help you stop stealing time, money, and memories from your family, you know? And I mean, again, I know there's some similarities, but like for the past, I'm 52. And as long as I could remember, our country over here, our education system has been telling people that the trades are a good plan B if you don't go to college. Right. And then if you don't go to college, you're stupid or you're not going to be successful and this and that. Now, that's a bunch of crap. Right. So, I'm on a mission, like I said, to bring respect and dignity back to the trades. And I think one of the ways to do that, is we got to make the money that we're worth. I mean, you know, money, like it or not, money's part of our world. And people often look at contractors and go, oh, you can't make any money in the trades. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you know how many millionaires I'm friends with that are contractors that are in the trades that are crushing it? I mean, I got, you know, one of my business partners, his two top foremen, they were making $100,000 a year putting in water features, you know, as foreman in the company. And then they ended up buying the company and now they're multimillionaires, you know? So it's like, there's so many opportunities in the trades. And I'm tired of the world telling us that, you know, we're not worth the money that we deserve.
It's fascinating to hear that it sounds like it's exactly the same in the States as it is in the UK. You know, it seemed as if you're naughty at school, go and become a tradesperson. If you fail at something, go and be a trade. You know, it's always that second chance, that plan B. When in reality, you know, you can earn the money in this industry is in essence infinite, isn't it? Because you can create your own opportunities. If you go down a corporate route or become a lawyer or doctor, you know, you're train tracked. Yeah, you can earn good money and you're doing a great thing, obviously. But that's what I love. I love the freedom that being a tradesperson and a business owner creates.
It is so easy to win in this. And because most contractors won't pay attention to the things that we're going to talk about today. They don't
nail on head right there.
Yeah, they don't pay attention or implement the things that we teach in our content online and all this other stuff. Like, and if you just, all right, give me 25% of the effort you put into learning your craft. Give me 25% of that into being a better business person, and you will crush it. You will just absolutely crush it. It doesn't take much.
And you're something that I always preach is you only have to be better than those around you.
Right.
You know, so, and the standard, again, I can only talk about the UK, but it sounds very similar, isn't that high. You know, You don't have to be outstanding to really excel, you know, like the opportunity is just so huge, and I just don't know, but it's also so fundamental. I don't understand why it has such a bad reputation. I just don't get it, because, you know, everyone needs a house, everyone needs clean water, everyone needs electric, everyone, you know, so why is it not valued? It baffles me.
Well, it's not sexy, right? It's not, you know, it's not a cool job where you can, you know, sit and do some coding on a computer and make hundreds of thousands of dollars or, you know, whatever. And it's hard. It's hard work too. A lot of it's hard work. And I don't know, man, I'm older and getting crusty, I guess, but it's like, you know, I think that our society doesn't value that that tough, hard work ethic like it once did. I know there's pockets of it, of course, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. We make a big deal out of kids going to college and they do all these posts on social media, but I saw a company on LinkedIn not too long ago. Every time they hire a kid out of high school, they do like a signing day, like the athletes do. And they got the company backdrop and they take all these pictures and they shoot it out to the press. And they're like, hey, Johnny just got out of high school and in 2 years, he's going to have no debt and make 90 grand a year working for our company, like, welcome, Johnny.
Wow. That's fantastic. Loving that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool marketing for that. So, but yeah, man, it's, those listening, we, you got to win, man. If you're going to be in this, win, do it right. Don't make your business a hobby, and treat it like it's the thing that you wanted it to be, right? Like we all started the business because we wanted to make more money. We could do it better than our boss, and we wanted the freedom.
Yeah.
On some level, those things are in there, right?
Yeah.
Yet the irony is we end up being shackled to the business. We can never turn it off. We're going into debt, not making the money that we should be making because we just don't commit to what I call winning the contractor fight, which is the war between your ears. It's the battleground. The 6 inches between my ears is where I have to win the fight every day. And that starts with, how I view myself and my self-worth. And, we have a thing, in our community called owning your crap. Like, look in the mirror and you got to acknowledge where your character is not where it needs to be so that you can deal with it and then move on to the success that you want, and for many, many years, I thought I was stupid. I was in a special ed class for 2 years in grade school. I rode the little short bus, we call it over here. And that was some baggage I carried around with me for decades as an adult. And I had successful businesses and I was a decorated United States Marine and I did all these cool things, but I still was way underachieving because I had this baggage that I truly believed that I was stupid. I just didn't believe I was smart. I was horrible in school. And, and then I decided, this is something I got to go toe to toe with. I got to fix this stuff because I'm tired of carrying the weight of my crap around with me. And, and everybody's got some crap. It might be that I have a lot of crap. Like one of my other loads that I was carrying around with me was the whole, Rebers never make any money. Okay. Nobody in my family really ever made a lot of money. We just don't make money. That's for other people. And that was the story I was telling myself. Yeah. And, we have a thing we call T-bar, TBAR, where your thoughts, they guide what you believe and what you believe guides your actions and your actions get you the results you want. So if I'm allowing my thoughts to say Rebers don't make money, blah, 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 then my belief will be that, right? And then you will never act in conflict with what you believe. So if I know I need to raise my prices, but I don't truly believe I'm worth it and Rebers aren't going to make money, then I won't take the action to raise my prices and get the result that I want. So what we put into our mind is incredibly important, man.
Yeah. I always, the first conversation I have with people when they reach out is basically that, it's what you put in here is just as important as what you eat and drink, if not more, because the thoughts that you have are the most powerful things. And you have a direct choice to change that, and so many people, I don't know whether it's through naivety, whether it's laziness, whether it's just the unknown, they just don't understand that battle of what goes on in here. I think you've summed it up brilliant. The battle between the 6 inches up there is so true.
There's some data out there that the average adult or the average person has 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day. And that about 90% of those thoughts are negative or they're on autopilot from what you thought the day before and the day before and the day before. And most of our thoughts are obviously subconscious, right? Like we just act subconsciously. So that's why it's so important that we take the initiative. We throw the first punch every day and start putting things into our brain that we want into our brain. I have a thing that I always share this because it's just, it's changed my life, but for quite a while, several years, I've a thing called my almost dropped my phone. Called my legacy statement. And I got the name of that from my coach, but it has my code, my code of conduct, how I show up every day. It's got a bunch of all these green check marks you see there, my affirmations. And these are things that I tell myself, like, I am a machine who fuels his mind and body with jet fuel. Like I tell myself every day, it helps me eat a little bit healthier, right? I am a magnet for money and success. All right. I could go on and on. Here's one. Cause I'm a very emotional person. I'm in control of my emotions and don't let them bitch slap me. Okay. Like that's my thing. Like, and I got a bunch of them, but every day, several times a day, I say this stuff. I read it out loud to myself. I'll write things down, because if I don't take control of my thoughts, it's going to be on autopilot from the crap that I grew up with or whatever. So
you know, it's really, I love hearing this, because it's something that I've embraced over the last few years. And it was a book called The Secret that sort of sparked the affirmations and stuff to me. But you mentioned about writing stuff down, you know, like I was on a call earlier and something triggered, and I don't know if you can see it. It basically says discipline equals freedom, right?
There you go. Yeah,
I think it was Jocko Willink.
That's from Jocko. Yep, that's his book too. Yep.
And I wrote it down at the time, so I didn't forget it, and I could look at and basically this little pink slip will stay on my desk until I want to do a bit more research into what that meant for me. Why did I write it down? You know, explore it and feed my brain off of that, because it was important at the time.
Yeah, dude. So this is funny, man. Because I had, like I said, I had all this financial head trash and negative self-talk from growing up, and I mean, everybody in my family was like bankrupt, broke, in debt, like never earned a lot of money. Like it's just it was a mess. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. So when I first started literally just writing down like 3 affirmations every morning. And the first one I wrote, and the one I've written and read every day now for several years, is I'm a magnet for money and success. Right. So dude, when I started writing that down, the craziest thing, probably 3 or 4 days after I started writing that down and just looking at it several times a day throughout the day, I would just be like, I remember I was outside of a building one day and I'm on the phone and I'm just pacing around on the phone talking to this guy. And I look down, there's a $20 bill. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I put the money in my pocket. Then like the next day I go somewhere else and there's like $5 bill. It just like rolls up to me. Like literally the wind blew a $5 bill up. And it's just crazy. Those are small, kind of goofy little things. But the other thing I started telling myself is making money is easy. I just started putting that into my brain. So dude, not only do I have like these bills of money, like just showing up all the time now, crap has been happening in our businesses at a level that is so crazy, just because I truly believe that it's just easy to make money and money just wants to come hang out with me. Like I just so I encourage anybody, whatever your thing is, tell yourself a different story, man. And because what happens, again, I'm not like a brain doctor or anything like that, but we have a thing called the RAS, our reticular activating system. So basically whatever you tell your brain is important, your RAS will find more evidence for it. Okay. So if you're walking around right now going, nobody wants to work, everyone's lazy, nobody wants to come into the trades, blah, 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 it's hard to find people, your brain will find more evidence for that. If you flip the script, I had a friend of mine who started telling himself, there's plenty of people that want to work in my company. I know my foreman is going to call me any day now. Like he started doing this, like within 3 or 4 days, he had a new foreman. Like it just, I don't know how it works. It just works. Or it's like you go and you buy a red truck, and then all of a sudden you're driving home in your red truck and you're looking around, you're like, what, did everyone go buy a red truck today? Because you told your brain the red truck is important. So now you see more red trucks. Or when you're walking through an airport and it's loud, it's crowded, and you hear, hey, Tom, or you just hear the name Tom or your own name, right? Wayne. It cuts through all the other noise because your name is important to you. And you're like, hey, somebody said my name. And, it was like 100 yards away in an airport.
I read something on that recently. And basically the question was, what's the 2 most important words in the world, in any language, anywhere you are, that would make you stop in your tracks, read that article if it was at the top of it, or switch to that channel, and it's your name. And it's like, I believe that with everything's like a frequency. I'm not scientific enough to understand it, but I believe in that there's different frequencies, and what you admit, we transmit and we receive. So it all works. Yeah. I think you gave it a name at the back of the skull, didn't you? I can't even remember.
The RAS, man, the reticular activating system. And it's
in essence the antenna, isn't it? Like,
and the easiest way I heard it explained by some brain scientist I heard on a podcast one day, he said, basically, if it's simple as this, if you tell your brain that something's important, it will give you more of that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you, that's why I do these affirmations, right? Like, that's why, the number one affirmation that I have on my thing here, we talked about family and stuff and this and that, is I'm the king in my home who fiercely protects the minds, hearts, and bodies of my queen and our kids. That's the first thing I read to myself every morning. Yeah. Like my family is brutally important to me.
Mine is one that I learned from another coach, and it's, if the king doesn't rise, the kingdom dies. And I say it every day, and it's hard to, you can't sell this on people, can you? That people have got to try it to believe it. I feel, we could sit here till we're blue in the face to say that it's impacted our lives and it's made change happen. But until someone who is listening to this or watching this actually implements it, I suppose it's like anything, isn't it? The knowledge is worthless unless people take action with it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing here is you can't just think the stuff and stuff magically changes for you. You have to, like I said, you got to control your thoughts. And over time, those thoughts truly become what you believe. And then you act in accordance with what you believe. And that action is what gets you the result. Yeah. Okay. But we're not going to take the proper actions consistently if we're not feeding our thoughts and our beliefs. And so there's some patience that's involved here. Like, you got to be consistent. And you have to take the action. I mean, you've seen this. How many people read a book, listen to a podcast, hear something about growing their business, and they get this, I got this golden nugget here that, that's going to change my business. And a year later, they haven't done anything with it. They didn't implement it. They didn't take any action. And I'm also just, being brutally honest here, there's part of this that I'm confused on too with this brain stuff, because I also believe that there's an element of, even before I believe something, I just need to take some action, and my confidence will build in that thing to where then my belief will be fulfilled, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, sometimes you just gotta take the action, and the belief will follow, the confidence will come, and things like that. So I think it's a little bit of both, but action is
faith, I would call that, wouldn't it? Like, you have to have faith in that next step, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nice. But you're living
talk about
it.
A lot of people.
I can see behind you, all of your words and the stuff you're surrounding yourself with. That's all part of it, isn't it?
It is, man. And it's, we're pretty,
I can see determination, perseverance. I can't see everyone that you've got
execution there, and things like that. But yeah, and I also think it's super important. You said you can't sell this to somebody, right? They got to want to try it. But I think one of the things that will help is you got to surround yourself with the right community. You got to be around the right people. You got to be, that's why we listen to things like this. That's why we read books. That's why we join, whether it's a free or paid group or whatever, I don't care what it is, but put yourself around other people, because that will be a lot of the encouragement that you need to stick with things and take the action that you need to take. None of us are on an island, and we all need a community.
And that's the absolute pleasure. I dread to think what people had to do 20, 30 years ago. Like, I'm only 34, right? Mm-hmm. So I pretty much, my adult life, there has been the internet, there's been cell phones. I've got an American there, cell phone. I've never said the word cell phone in my life. We call them mobile phones here. I don't know what come over me there. So we've always been connected, and it can be, if you use it correctly, it can be the biggest gift, can't it? It can also be a curse, just as easy.
Totally.
But,
well, I used to have to get on a bike and ride to the library to look something up in an encyclopedia. Now we just pick a phone up and ask it a question, and it gives us all these answers, man.
I mean, don't even have to type anything anymore.
Yeah. And so again, that's a blessing. But I think one of the things it's done for a lot of people is it's spoiled us to where we just think success comes really quick. When no, you got to keep getting up and showing up and be like water and just do that monotonous work that nobody wants to do over and over and over to get success. Yeah, there's no shortcut. Like, it takes what it takes, and success doesn't care how you feel, doesn't care. There's a football coach here, Nick Saban, in the United States, and he's like, success takes what it takes, period. Like, that's one of his big things. And it's like, it's a process. You got to follow the process, and the process doesn't care how you feel today.
I love the phrase that most overnight successes take 10 years.
Right.
So we only see the tip, don't we? The good things, the fast part, but no one sees the 5-10 years of graft, hustle, perseverance that someone's put in.
Well, it's funny. I'm right about 10 years now with doing what I'm doing now. Okay.
Yeah.
And the first several years I was doing podcasts and videos and social media posts and blog posts, and nobody ever listened to anything. Nobody ever watched anything. I mean, it was years and years and years and years. And within like the last 3-4 years, our brand and our company and our bank accounts have exploded, because I look at it like the bamboo tree, man. I don't know if you know about bamboo. It's pretty crazy. Like, bamboo grows under the ground for like 4 years. It never comes up, because it's building this root system. And then when it finally pops up out of the ground, it shoots up like 60, 80 feet in like 8 weeks. Like, it's just crazy, but it's been growing the whole time. And that's why I tell people, like, man, just keep showing up, keep putting in the work, that it compounds over time. There was a book, Malcolm Gladwell, right, called The Tipping Point years ago. Yeah. It's like everything has a tipping point, and you will never reach that tipping point, if you're not just consistently showing up, doing the hockey stick.
It's the hockey stick effect, isn't it? It's flatlining and slight growth for such a long time, and then all of a sudden, up we go. Yep. And it's definitely, the modern world doesn't gear you up for that, though, because everything's instant now. If your Amazon delivery's 24 hours late, the world's ended, isn't it? It's crazy times.
Yeah, I remember. When I was a kid, we made popcorn on the stove.
Right. Yeah.
That now you throw it in a microwave, right? I remember our first TV that had a remote control had a wire that went to the TV. So you couldn't sit too far away from the TV as long as the wire was, right? There's so many things, the phone. Like, I remember I worked for my uncle. He's a painting contractor, and I worked for him for years. And I had a pager. And he would page me, and I'd be on a job site, and I'd have to like get in the van, and I'd have to drive down the road to the nearest gas station and throw quarters in the phone and call them. Like, we literally had no mobile phones. So see, I used your word there.
Yes, you did.
So, it's a blessing. I mean, and that's why I think there's never been an easier time to build a business and be successful, because a lot of these things are blessings, right? We just got to keep it in perspective that, don't let it spoil you. Look for the hard way. Look for the uncomfortable stuff. That's where you grow.
Yeah, definitely. 100% agree with that. So moving on a little bit, obviously, I think I've already mentioned it a bit earlier in the conversation, but I'm holding a copy of your book here. So what led you to make the book? What led you to publish the book? Because a lot of people want to write a book. Well, you've actually made it happen. So yeah, take us on a bit of the history of that.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff that we talk about here is the mindset. We dig into some marketing, sales, building your team, the community you hang with, a lot of things we've skimmed over here today. I go deeper in and share a lot of different stories. There's some how-tos. There's a lot of kicks in the butt, and this and that. Tried to really just get to the point with no fluff, because I wanted to write a book that I would read, which is just straight to the point, no fluff. It's, under 150 pages. And I wrote it and published it because these are things that I've been saying from the stage for many years, and certain pieces of content and coaching groups and all this other stuff. And every time I'd share this stuff, people would give me feedback like, man, like the mindset thing. I was in special ed for 2 years, and I rode the short bus, like I said, and all that other stuff. When I shared that I had this baggage that I thought I was stupid, You know, I've had grown men in their 40s and 50s come up to me after I've shared that from the stage with tears in their eyes going, I thought I was the only one. And so I was just like, well, how do I help more people? Right. And so I just put it in a book, because not everyone's going to see the YouTube thing. Not everyone's going to listen to the podcast. I wanted to just put everything in a place where it would be helpful for people and we could reach more men and women that, want to get better. So.
Fantastic. And I'm guessing any of the listeners right now, we can just head over to Amazon is probably the best place, or your website. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. You can go to Amazon. You can go to the contractorfight.com /book. Now, I don't know how it's going to work out for you guys on the other side of the pond, but here in the States, you can get the book for free at the contractorfight.com /book. You just got to pay for shipping and handling. But my guess is if you're in the UK or outside of the United States, it'll be cheaper for you to just get it on Amazon, because the shipping and handling would be, I just shipped a bunch of books I was telling you earlier, and it was $30-$40 to ship a book, depending on where I was shipping it. So
Amazon, as with most things nowadays, isn't it? Amazon's the answer and the solution.
Dude, I tell you, man, it was crazy. We had this big event in Denver in September called the Mile High Profit Summit. I had about 350 contractors there from all over the place. Wow. And one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to give everybody a copy of the book, right? And people knew I was writing a book. We told them it was coming in the winter, and we were going to surprise everybody at the event and hand them out. Those who were in person at the event would get a copy first, right? Before anyone else, which they did. We put the order in when we had to order them through Amazon, because it was the fastest way we could get them, right? We put an order in for like 450, 500 books or whatever it was on a Tuesday. All right. Friday, they were at my house. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So, you brought up Amazon, like, within 24 hours, you got something. I mean, I ordered something the other day. I forget, it was a piece for my video equipment or whatever, little thing, right? I want to say I ordered it at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and it was at my house the next day by 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's phenomenal machine, isn't it?
Yeah,
how I don't know about like I live in what we call over here a village, right? Which is like you've got out of the town. It's just like a little rural place. And I can order stuff. I think if it's before 2:00, it will come by 10:00 that night. Not everything, but like certain items. God. So the same day, like it is just a phenomenal machine, isn't it?
Well, that just a coaching point for contractors listening. This is why it's so important for you to dial in your systems, your processes, your efficiencies, and get rid of the chaos and replace it with order in your company. Like you and I have talked about in the past, right? Like it's because this is the experience that people are used to now. And so they're used to, they push a button, a thing shows up same day for you, next day for me. Yet when they call a contractor or fill a form out on their website, it's like crickets for a week. And they don't get back to them. They don't return the call. They're not even checking their website to see if any forms came in or whatever it was. I'm to the point, somebody asked me, Tom, somebody fills something out on my website, what's an acceptable amount of time to get back to them? I said, if it's after business hours that thing comes through, right? Then first thing next day, right? That's kind of like acceptable. If it's during business hours, I expect a call from a company within minutes.
5-minute rule I have in my business.
Yeah, within minutes, I expect some sort of a reply.
I recently did a training speech to a bunch of guys about customer expectation and how, I'm going to generalize here, but the older contractors, older business owners, their reality is a bit different to what the customer's expectations are right now. I think that's a polite way of saying the oldies might be a bit left behind. And basically the point of the talk that I gave to these guys was that put yourself in their shoes. What do you expect? You expect confirmation emails, reminder, review requests at the end, follow-ups to make sure there's not been no problem with, you expect all of this with anything you buy. Yeah. In the speech, I use like a fridge as an example. You go onto like the appliance shop and you'd check out the reviews. You would check out the, the delivery times, when it can be done. You'd make your purchase. You'd expect the confirmation, a receipt, you'd expect a delivery email, you'd expect a on the route email, you'd expect all of this stuff. But Mr. Joe Bloggs, the plumber, just rings up and says, yeah, I might come round this week, or not. It's like, what the heck? What the hell are people doing out there?
Yep. Yeah, it's I truly think the future of contracting services is going the way of Amazon. Yeah. Like where, and I'm already starting to see it with some people where, and I don't want to get into this big thing now with people listening to this going, there's no way you can bid stuff over the computer on a website. You got to go see it and all this other garbage. Okay. That's easy to deal with down the road. But so what I'm talking about is like, if you're a painting contractor you should have a website now where somebody goes on and could put in the rough dimensions of their room, what they want painted, click a couple boxes, they hit a button and it spits the price out. Right. And then they can buy it. They can order the painting, okay, the painting project. And then when they're checking out, it'll say other people have bought this, just like Amazon, like, purchase a discounted pressure wash for the exterior of your house, save 20% or whatever it might be. Like, I just think or if you just did the walls, right, it's going to say other people added the ceilings, add your ceilings for only this. Like, that's what, like you said, those are the expectations of customers. And yet contractors continually make it harder for people to spend money with them because they don't communicate well. They don't talk about money and all this
simple things like online booking, just to book an appointment, let alone like a quote visit or a sales visit. As I try to keep telling myself, I try to not use the word quote anymore internally. It's a sales visit. If you can't book it online, like I just know personally, if I can't book we have this thing in the UK called an MOT. Every year you have to take your car to get checked. It does the emissions and stuff. If I can't book it online, they ain't getting my business because as simple as that.
All right. This sounds horrible. I owe an urgent care place. I don't know what you call them there, but little doctor's office. If you cut your hand, you don't go to the hospital. You can go to the hospital to the emergency room, but they also have like little smaller.
Yeah, minor emergency care. I think we call them.
So
here, yeah.
I sliced my thumb a while back, went to the urgent care, got it fixed up. And this is a shame. I owe them like $160. Okay. The check is in an envelope sitting on a shelf next to my front door right now. It's been there for over a week because I don't have a stamp. Okay. And they've been sending me a bill in the mail, not email, in the mail for like 2 or 3 months. And I haven't paid it. This is awful. I should pay my bill. Right. So it's on me. I'm not, but they don't have an online payment thing.
Crazy.
So it's like, how are you in business in any industry in 2021 and you don't have a way for people to pay you on their phone or website or something like that? Now, this is totally on me. I'm not trying to like make myself out to be the good guy here, but again, this is just another example of how a business is not making it easy to collect money. Yeah. I can't imagine how much time they're spending stuffing a stupid envelope, sending it out to their customers when just set up a portal. And contractors, guys, listen to this. A lot of you guys have this issue too. You're like, well, I don't want to pay the 3% credit card fee. Like, that is so small-minded. Okay. Those companies that accept credit cards actually have higher average job sizes. Okay. People are more likely to swipe a card with you because they're not physically writing the check and seeing the money leave their bank account. They just swipe a card. So, and if you're worried about 3% in processing fees, then you don't know your math as a business. Okay. I have a very good friend of mine who's a multimillionaire, was in business forever. He just retired not too long ago. He didn't take credit cards until like the last 2 years of him owning his business before he sold it. And he said to me, he's like, oh my God, I was so stupid. I can't believe I was this short-sighted, man. We're just crushing it. Our sales is going through the roof because we made it easy for people to buy from us. Yeah. So if you're a contractor listening to this, get your head out of your butt. Okay. Make it easy for people to give you money. So
remove the restriction. Yeah. Yeah. And that's on every step of the journey, the least restriction, the better, isn't it?
100%, man. Well, you talked about online scheduling back in, I think it was around 2010. I owned a painting company back then, and we were doing hundreds of jobs a year. And what we found from our Google Analytics was that people were filling out our contact forms after 9 p.m. on Sunday nights more than any other day of the week. And most of the forms that we got were after business hours through our website. And then, you know what has to happen. You come in the next morning, your office manager goes through them all and calls everybody and sets appointments, and it's very labor intensive. And so there was a thing, and it's still around. It's called you can book.me or whatever it is. You can book me. It's an online scheduling. Then this is back in this 11 years ago, at least, I think it was, that we put that on our website, where we put pictures of the different estimators and salespeople that we had. You could book an appointment, a little bio, and you could book appointment with whatever one you wanted. It's synced with our Google calendars. And we would, instead of us having all these calls to return and stuff, our phones would just ding all the time with appointments that were set. And a lot of times, you know, we would just pick up the phone and call them. It might be a past customer that wanted something done. It'd be like, "Hey, Wayne, what's up?" You know, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I just filled the thing out 10 minutes ago and you're calling me now." And I'm like, cause I'd be out, you know, working or whatever. Yeah. And I go, "Yeah, what are you looking to do?" And he's like, "Yeah, we want to do our deck, or we want to paint this room." And I'd be like, "All right, you know, that's going to be around, you know, $2,000 or so. You want to get it on the schedule?" He's like, "Yeah." So now it just saved all this time. It made it easier for them. And dude, like you, if I can't book something on somebody's website, I back button and leave. And most people, I wish I could remember the stats on this. But like when somebody calls your office, most contractors don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
And what the heck is it? God, I just did a training on this like 6 months ago, and now I'm blowing. So the stat I'm going to give you is close. It's probably not exact, but it's like, if 85% of the people that call you and you don't answer will not leave a voicemail, and they will call someone else and not call you back. That's why you need to invest in an office manager or answering service or something. You need to answer your dang phone, because people will move on to your competitor like that. I do it all the time, man. Like if we were doing work around the house.
I'm ashamed to say I ran my business for probably 4 to 5 years on a voicemail. Fuck them. If they ain't going to leave a voicemail, fuck them. That was my attitude. What the hell? You know, obviously I was naive and young back then. But that was my mentality. It would be like, well, you know, I saw having an office staff as a cost, not an investment. And, you know, and once I realized that, wow, no, that was a big mistake.
So we've taken it a step further now. We actually, train, we have a sales training program, obviously for salespeople and owners, but we also train what we call their gatekeepers, the people that answer the phone. We teach them how to pre-qualify and sell small jobs over the phone and things like that. So it never has to go to a salesperson. And now that person is not an expense. They're actually, you know, an investment that you're making into the revenue and profit of your business, because you're more efficient. It's easier for the customer to book a job or whatever it is. So yeah, those who are listening, man, this is low hanging fruit. Like, answer your dang phone, make it easy for people to connect with you, to communicate, to schedule, to pay you. And right there, you're going to differentiate from 95%.
You're already in the top 5%, aren't you? Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, probably top 1%.
Absolutely, man.
Wow. Right. Well, we're coming up towards the end of the hour. So I'm sure everyone that's listening is going to want to hear a little bit more about you, Tom. And so what's your podcast for starters? Where let's point people over to your show so people can have a good listen.
Yeah. Wherever you listen to a podcast, just type in the Contractor Fight, and we got a lot of good stuff there. Been doing it for a long time. I think we're well over 400 episodes now. And then we have another show called this Contractor Sales Training Podcast. So I have 2 of those, and that's 100 and something episodes now. And Contractor Fight TV on YouTube. So all these places, just go anywhere online, type in the Contractor Fight, and we'll show up, man.
Excellent. Lovely. So guys, make sure you go and seek this out, because the knowledge, the expertise is second to none for sure. I always try and get a little bit of, a bit of a random question in, not, it's not really that random, but what would you say for someone sitting there now that's got a small business, they're struggling, what's the next couple of steps that they can take to move forward? Where should they go? What should they do? So some sort of actionable things for them, whether it be a book or some advice.
Yeah. First thing that always comes to my mind is find a community, right?
Yeah.
You're not on an island, and I guarantee you the problems you're having are not unique to you. And some of the best progress I've made in my businesses through the years are just by associating with people that are a half a lap ahead of me in something, that have gone through something and can make perspective. So I would just encourage people, of course, listen to our shows and, check our books out and whatever we have going on. But like, just if nothing else, try to find a group of other men and women contractors that are just a little bit ahead of you, to where you're not always the smartest guy in the room, right? I want to be the dumbest guy in the room, because that means I'm learning something. So that was first thing that come to my mind. And then I would say, if I go specifically, like if you're struggling with not knowing your numbers, because I know a lot of contractors have that issue, and you need a little motivation to maybe raise your prices or dial things in a little bit better, just start job costing every job. and the numbers, like, it's funny, man. People are like, I can't raise my prices. And I'm like, well, just job cost the next 10 jobs or next 5 jobs, and then come back. And 100% of the time they come back, they're like, oh my God, I'm not making the money I thought I was making. I'm going to raise my prices. So, because the math doesn't lie. So, yeah, man. But I think it's just hang around people that are going to rub off on you in a good way.
Absolutely love that. Yeah, community is a very great answer. And on that note, Tom has been kind enough to donate some time to deliver a session on the Trades Growth Summit, which is, if you haven't heard about the Trades Growth Summit, it's an online event where we've got 30 plus world industry leading speakers from all walks of life, all backgrounds, and fundamentally, it's going to be a community of people that are looking to improve and move their life and business forward. So a little plug for that as it come up in what we were talking about. It's tradesgrowthsummit.org. All you've got to do, it's a non-profit event. It's raising money for Help for Heroes. Is head over to the website. It explains everything. And like I say, Tom has been kind enough to get involved and deliver a training on people and staff and lots more. There's very, very great content. So head over there. Right, I think for me, I think I've got out everything I wanted to ask you on this one. I'd love to get you back on again, because I think there's a lot more conversation to have around everything that you're doing, and you're obviously a very knowledgeable man with lots to share, which is fantastic. Because sadly, a lot of people try and keep knowledge to themselves. Yeah,
it's I find the more you give, the more you get, man. So it's that. And I wasn't always that way, right? I think it takes some time to learn that. I think a lot of people are holding things close to their chest. And what I found is that the most successful people actually want to share their success with other people. They want to see other people succeed. And that's why you and I do what we do, man. We want other people to win. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, you have any negative self-talk in your head around, successful people, don't want to give knowledge and help and all these, that's a crock, man. I promise you, those who are winning want others to win. It's that simple. So seek them out, hang out with them, and good stuff will happen.
Lovely. I'll leave it at there. Have a good evening, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to pull it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, making time for everything in your life, and the freebies is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.